And as I call your name, if you just unmute, let me know name, who you're representing here today, whether you're the applicant on their community group or neighboring property owner or someone else. Start with Wes Menzel, who's from the city's zoning department. Welcome, Wes.
Good morning.
And then we have David Westmeister. Is that right?
That's correct. Thanks, David. Good morning.
Good morning. And Mr. Westmeister, can you tell me if you're a part of the project or is there somebody else?
No, not a part of project. Neighbor across the street, the hotel.
Okay, got it. All right. And I did receive your correspondence, Mr. Westmeister. And then so we also have, it looks like, is it Woker?
Yes, Jonathan Woker, and we've got Tom Urbeck here with I'm with McBride Dale Clearing, and Tom Urbeck is the owner applicant.
And Tom, could you spell your last name for me?
Erbeck.
Urbeck. Got it. And are we expecting anyone else to join us here on the applicant owner side, or are we ready to start?
We're all complete.
Okay, great. I need to read through our hearing script. That's the last thing we need to do before we get started. So we just cover the procedure for the hearing. So this is the May 15th, 2024 session of the zoning hearing docket. The case before today is case number ZH20240048. The purpose of this hearing is to allow the applicant and the other parties to testify and to offer food evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and supplemental rules of the zoning. Examine all testimony and evidence that the applicant or potential other party wishes to offer must present at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows: the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent first present the applicant's case. I will then turn it over to the public to provide the testimony after the applicant has presented this case. I will give the zoning plans examiner Wes Menzel an opportunity to provide the testimony and staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony that was offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make concluding statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. May limit or exclude any testimony that are deemed irrelevant outside the scope of the application being considered. Therefore, consider ask questions or comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot them on the fly, but to the extent there are some defective differences with the hearing, to this part of the hearing discussion. Okay, the last thing I need to do is just swear in all our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any comments, asking any questions, doing anything other than just strictly observing here today, then the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So if that's you, I'd like to collectively do that with everyone now. If you take yourself off of mute, raise your right hand. I'll need everyone to answer that loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony shall be able to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Great. All right, fantastic. So Mr. Woker and Mr. Urbeck, you all can orient your presentation however you'd like. One of you can speak, both of you can speak. You know, any order you'd like. With that, I will turn the floor over to you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. So this is Jonathan Woker. I'm a planner with McBride Dale Clearing. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. David, I don't know if you typically like it for us to share our screen or if you just want me to go through knowing you've got the materials.
That's up to you. And maybe useful for us all to be looking at the same thing as you go through, but you're more than welcome to share your screen.
Okay, well, let me try and do that right now, and I'll see if that's going to work here. Are you able to see my screen?
Just it's loading, but yeah, it looks like we're looking at the rendering of the front.
Great. Okay, and I'm going to start with, let me switch over to the other one here. Hold on. Put this up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go through my presentation. This is a request by Tom Urbeck, who's the owner of 103 and 107 MCM LLC and McMillan LLC. He's the owner of the properties at 93 through 107 West McMillan Street. Property is approximately 0.43 acres. It's on the south side of McMillan Street. which is west of Ohio Avenue. So we have on the screen here, the property, which is generally outlined here. And then again, this is West McMillan Street and Ohio on this side. So the property is in the CCM Community Mixed District, and we are proposing Adriatico's Beer Garden Restaurant for these locations. As you probably know, there are multiple requests. We are requesting 2 conditional uses. Those have to do with the outdoor dining area being within 100 feet of a residential district, and also having outdoor entertainment in the outdoor dining area within 500 feet of a residential district. We are requesting a variance related to parking. We are requesting a parking variance of 21 spaces. And then we are requesting 3 special exceptions, and those have to do with having parking in the side yard, allowing a 4-foot buffer yard on the south with 0 landscaping, and to allow 0 interior and perimeter landscaping in the parking lot. So that is our application. I'm now showing a site plan. The properties at 930 through 107 West McMillan currently contain 2 buildings with dwellings. There's a vacant parcel, and there's also a parking lot. There are currently 2 driveways on the property. The existing Adriatico's restaurant is at 113 West McMillan Street, which is a couple of properties to the west. I did provide photographs of those properties in the application. Surrounding uses in the area is a mixture of retail, service, restaurants. There's a hotel and parking. There's residential to the south along Lion Street. It's also worth noting, we think there's a 400-bed student housing project that's under development that should be open in the summer of 2025, a couple of properties to the west. Again, I provided photographs of that. There is the U Square parking garage and the hotel directly across the street on West McMillan. So our plan is to demolish the existing structures that are on site. We would build an 11,421 square foot Adriatico's Beer Garden Restaurant. The plan shows that building. So the property boundary is shown on the plan. The parking is on the east side here, and then the restaurant building is the rest of what's shown on the plan. We would have 13 parking spaces on the east side. We would be removing one of the curb cuts. You probably know, but West McMillan is a one-way street, eastbound only. The restaurant will have 2,737 square feet of outdoor dining area, the beer garden area. So that is located in this area of the plan. Again, it would be along West McMillan. There would be a 4-foot tall brick wall located approximately 6 inches from the streetscape. I think at this point, this is a pretty good view to show what is proposed. So again, the outdoor dining area is along West McMillan. There would be a 4-foot wall along the street frontage. And then you can see the indoor dining area behind the outdoor area. The restaurant would have 2 entrances on West McMillan Street. There would be an entrance for carryout on the east side shown here. There would be also an entrance to the outdoor area, and then the main dining area kind of in the middle of the property. There's also an employee and delivery entrance on the east side from the parking area. That's where the delivery activity would occur. And then there's an emergency access door to the rear of the property. The outdoor area would contain tables and seats. There's also some outdoor gaming, like some cornhole, and then televisions. There would be an order or service window for the outdoor customers to come up to, and that's generally on the east side of the property. The waste enclosure is in the parking area on the east side. That's adjacent to the parking for an existing multifamily development that's adjacent to the property. And then the rear building setback's about 4 feet from the rear property line. I will point out there is a large retaining wall to the rear of the property. So this property is about 17 feet above the residential properties along Lion Street to the south. And we are proposing a 6-foot opaque fence on the east and south side of the parking area for the development. So we are requesting a couple of variances, conditional uses, and the special exceptions. Let me go through those. For the variance, we are requesting a reduction in the number of parking spaces. That's per section 1409-25. By code, the use would require 67 parking spaces. The zoning resolution allows a 50% reduction if it's shown that there is capacity in nearby garages. So if that 50% reduction is applied, that would mean that there would be 34 parking spaces necessary. We're proposing 13 spaces on the site, so 34 minus 13 results in the 21 parking space variance that we need. I know I ran through a lot of numbers there, David, but if we need to go through that, we can some more. We did submit a parking study that was prepared by the Cuff neighborhood that shows that there is capacity in the existing garages. Those garages are less than 600 feet from the subject property. So we believe we meet that 50% threshold. Also point out there's on-street parking on McMillan, on Calhoun, and on other public streets. We have maximized the parking on the site to the extent that we can. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to the site plan. So we've maximized the parking available on the site with the very narrow depth of the property and given the constraints of the site. Also, we've got a high percentage of our customers are going to be walking from the area. A lot of residents, students, and other visitors to the facility. So we also understand that there are some text amendments that are being considered by the city that are considered reduction of parking in certain corridors. We believe that this is one of those corridors and think that that's relevant information as well. I did provide written statements to the variances. I'll go through the main points of those and can put those on record if need more explanation. We feel that given the limited size of the property, it's again 0.425 acres, and the depth, it's about 97.5 feet deep. Given those conditions, combined with the parking requirements and the design standards for the CCM, we believe that redevelopment of the site for an economically viable use would be very difficult without the variance. We do think we've got unique circumstances here. I mentioned the multiple parking garages that are in the area, combined with the on-street parking and the pedestrian nature of the neighborhood. We feel those aren't all components shared by all the CCM districts. That's kind of a unique circumstance here. A lot of our customers will be walking to the facility from university events, from university housing, or from football games, basketball games, etc. And also considering the use will have delivery of food, so portion of the restaurant demand is reduced by the delivery component of the Adriaticos. Hardship was not created by the owner. We do not believe that there will be a negative impact to the adjacent property owners or to the community character. We in fact think that it's going to be an improvement to the community character. We believe that there's no negative impact to public health, safety, or welfare, and that granting the variance will be consistent with the intent of the zoning code and the text amendments that are considered by the city. And then lastly on that, we've tried to minimize the variance that's required. So we've provided as much parking as feasible on the site given the limited constraints of the property. I want to talk a little bit about the conditional uses. Go back to the rendering. We are asking for 2 conditional uses, section 1419-21, letter B and letter E. Those have to do with having outdoor dining within 100 feet of a residential district, and then having outdoor dining with amplified sound within 500 feet. The lot width, as I mentioned before, is 97.5 feet. So we're about 2.5 feet short of the 100-foot spacing requirement. And we're a little more than 400 feet short of the 500-foot standard. This site will be separated from the residential uses to the south by a significant grade change. I mentioned that before. There's a 17-foot grade change to the rear retaining wall. Those residences are lower. The proposed outdoor area will have televisions and amplified sound. All of that activity will be along McMillan Street, and that means that the restaurant and the building wall will be a screen between any of the outdoor dining area and the adjacent residence. And when combined with that new wall and the grade change, we think it's appropriate. The hours of operations proposed for this outdoor area are consistent with the zoning code, so we're not asking for any relief from that. We are aware that there's been some concerns raised by the hotel across the street. As I mentioned, our hours will be within the zoning regulations. This is an urban area that the hotel is located in, and the property is zoned commercial. There are other uses in the area that have outdoor activity, the Canes, the Keystone, U Square, all of those have had outdoor activity and hours of operations beyond what's proposed here. So we think that this is an appropriate request. Also worth noting, Mr. Urbeck has operated the existing Adriaticos in this vicinity, which also has open air dining area and has not had any complaints for the years that he's operated. So we believe that the conditional uses are appropriate in this location and as proposed. And then if I can, I would go through the 3 special exceptions, and then we can respond to questions that you might have. So again, we've got three special exceptions that are requested. One dealing with the location of parking on the side yard. Again, there'll be 13 parking spaces. This lot is very narrow. The depth is only 97 feet, and it's not practical to have the parking behind this facility. So as proposed, the beer garden would have the parking located adjacent to the multifamily dwelling that's at the corner of Ohio and West McMillan. And again, we'd have a 6-foot opaque fence there. So we think the location is appropriate. We're asking for special exception, section 1423-13B. That is to allow a 4-foot buffer and a 0 landscaping to the south. As I previously showed on the plan, the building wall will be approximately 4 feet from the rear lot line. So we feel that that building creates a natural screen, and that relief from that requirement is appropriate. We would not have any activity in that rear area. So other than emergency access, none of our operations are behind the store. And then lastly, the third special exception is section 1425-29. That's to allow 0 parking lot landscaping on the perimeter and in the interior. The parking that we're proposing is very consistent with the character of this part of the business district. We have a 6-foot vinyl fence on the the east and south side of our parking area. And we've maximized parking to the extent that we can, given the limited size of the property. I did provide some written statements in the application regarding the special exception standards. I want to go through those generally. We believe that we're not going to have any detrimental impact on property in the area. We, in fact, think we're going to improve property values. We believe that the proposed improvements is a substantial investment in the area, and are not aware of any negative impacts to public health, safety, or welfare that will result. We think we're going to be harmonious with the area. And frankly, this is the type of development that the city is encouraging in their business districts. I did provide written statements on the general standards. I'm not going to read all of those, but we did cite standards from Plan Cincinnati. We're not aware of any traffic concerns that were raised by the city. Our hours of operation will be from 11 a.m. to midnight on Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Those meet the zoning regulations and are compatible with restaurants in the area. And in fact, are less than some that have been approved. We do feel we're compatible with the neighborhood. This is an urban mixed use area. We think we're going to be a positive addition to the McMillan Street corridor. We think we're consistent with the proposed zoning amendments, considering reduction in parking, not aware of adverse impacts. This will be approximately a $3 million investment, and will create 15 to 20 jobs, part-time and full-time, plus more than 20 construction jobs. So we feel it's a substantial investment by the owner. And then there will be increased tax value. Again, all of those statements were part of my application. So in conclusion, for my presentation, we agree with the findings from the staff report. Mr. Menzel provided a copy of that from the online documents. This redevelopment provides an active pedestrian-oriented eating option. We think it's an improvement to several properties that have seen better days of investment, and this will be a substantial improvement. As you are aware, there have been several letters of support from Cuff Business Association, as well as from neighbors that indicate their support for this project. And we think that it shows that Mr. Urbeck is a property owner that's committed to this area, committed to this business district, and to the city of Cincinnati as a whole. So we request approval of these plans and the various requests we've explained. I'll try and answer questions. I will pause here and see if you've got questions, David, and then see if Mr. Urbeck has some statements as well.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mr. Wilbur, for that presentation. I appreciate you going through the statements there with your thorough professional approach. But let me ask just a couple clarifying questions. Back to the hours of operation. You said the outdoor area hours, the zoning code restrictions. So does that mean that the outdoor area would operate Sunday through Thursday between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m.?
Yes.
And the Friday and Saturday outdoor operating hours would be 11 to 12 midnight?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And I assume are those the general hours of operation or just for the outdoor area?
That's for the outdoor area. Delivery, we usually stay open a little bit later. It's all changed since COVID. We used to close at 2:30 in the morning, and now we close at 11 o'clock for delivery Sunday through Thursday, and we're open till midnight Friday and Saturday. I don't see things going back to the way they were pre-COVID. So our hours will probably be, for the interior dining, will probably be 11 o'clock and midnight on weekends.
Gotcha. Okay. Got it. Let's see. I think that's all the questions I have now. I'll let some other folks from the great, unless there's anything else either of you wanting to tell me about the project.
I want to go through the concerns that the hotel might have. Can you pull up the site plan?
I'm going to try and share my screen again, David.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you were.
That's all right. I'll make it quick.
Yeah, feel free. No, take your time.
Is this good enough?
Yep, we can.
I just want to point out where it doesn't come up on the.
There it is. You see it.
To the west of the property is Raising Cane's and U Square, which you see the rounded bump out there. That would also be the St. Clair. We're going to get a new bar they closed last year, Keystone, and they are all open or would be open the same hours that I will be, and they're active sites. I mean, Raising Cane's is busy during those times. People are sitting out there. I checked, I sit on the board of the local urban redevelopment who owns 50% of U Square, and they also own UPA directly to the north. And he told me that we haven't had any complaints from any of our neighbors about noise in the patio out there. I just wanted to also emphasize that my current location, the front windows do open. So they are open to the sidewalk. And we used to be open until, like I said, 1:30, 2 o'clock on Friday and Saturday. We are no longer open those hours, but we had never had a problem, noise complaints against us, nor I talked to the manager at the Fairfield Inn. She's a member of the business association, and never had any concerns about that. Since COVID, things have changed and people want to sit outside. That's one of the main reasons of the expansion here. With that, the other restaurants in the area that are open until the midnight on Friday and Saturday: Max Pizza Pub, El Taco, Mio's, Mac Shack, Cincinnati Steak Lemonade, Arlen's, Freeze Cafe, and Murphy's just opened a new patio that they just built down on Ohio Avenue, completely new outdoor patio. So I would be at a competitive disadvantage to all of those businesses. Just to put that also in terms of a restaurant, the game days are probably our biggest ones up there. UC football. And UC football last year, they don't have the 2024 schedule, but 2023 had a 7 o'clock game against Miami, September 16th. And if you go for the average 3 hours and 15 minutes, which is a football game, that would put us at 10:15. They'd come back after that and not be able to even tell that I was open, because by the time you shut all that down, it's harder to see into the interior if, the front doesn't have anybody sitting out there. And that would be a huge blow. And then you got to also count the away games. And we had 4 away games that started in the evening that I expect to have a crowd. And it's one of the reasons I'm opening this. Also closing it at 10 o'clock as proposed. We wouldn't just close at 10. You would have to have last seating at like 9:10 at night, because if somebody's sitting out there and eating a pizza, they have to have time to get their food and eat it, maybe even 9 o'clock. And for last call for beers, I'd still have to do it at 9:30, so they'd have time to do it. And it just doesn't work. I mean, this would be a game killer for me. We don't want to be a bar. I would be nervous if a live venue went across from us that played music until midnight. But that's not what I'm proposing. That's not what we've done in the past. But we do need to be able to have diners out there in that outdoor patio until midnight. And I looked at it. I did not ask for extended hours, as I know Max Pizza down the street from me did, and he did get extended hours. He's open his patio, I think it's open till 2. We don't want that. That's not my business. I don't want the bar crowd, but I do want the after games, the later sporting events, people going out in the summer when it's still light till 9:40 would not be able to enjoy the outside patio even in the sunlight. So the only other thing I would like to add is the amount of beds that are going in the area is just phenomenal. The UC has not announced yet, but it's been leaked. They are putting 1,300 beds, 4 dormitories down across from Old St. George between Vine Street, Calhoun, and McMillan. That's 1,300 students that will be looking to walk through the neighborhood. The Deacon is finishing up its 2nd phase and going into the 3rd. The 3rd is going to be an additional 1,100 beds, and I think it's 1,100 on the current one. Right next door to me is 400 beds. Just at the top of which is within a half a mile of me, Dan Schimberg, Uptown, is also under construction currently of a 300 bed project and another 350 bed project. So Clifton is booming. There's a lot of student housing going in the direct vicinity, and the traffic for people walking versus driving into the area will be huge. That's it. If you have any questions.
Yeah, quickly comment / question. You know, I think what you have here is a really, really attractive and well-designed property. I don't want to hold that against you, but and I won't. You know, but it's been a little while since I've been in college, but I think you're going to have a really, really popular destination. So, you know, going back to that, and just potential adverse sonic impacts. I'm picturing a patio full of college kids playing cornhole and other stuff. Along with the hours, will there also be? I assume there will also be any sort of outdoor entertainment infrastructure that's built in there, speakers, TVs. Will those also be shut down at that time? And is there any other mitigating factor for that outdoor area?
The outdoor area would be, they would all be turned off at, 10 o'clock Sunday through Thursday and midnight on Friday and Saturday. The funny thing is we don't get the college students, that come there. I think we're a little too expensive, but one of the main reasons of doing this was we get the families. And it's the college mom and dad will come in and they'll take all their roommates out. So it's not uncommon for us to have a group of 10 to 12 people. And that's one of the ideas on this larger seating with the picnic tables, is that we get large groups. And it's funny, I've got it down to 32 days a year that we will be really busy. Besides that, I'm not counting on this being, packed all the time, but we have move in, move out, parents weekend, homecoming, all of the football games. And then when the university hosts, they host 20 high schools for graduation at the Fifth Third Center. And, people don't think about those, but they are huge days for us because Oak Hills will come in with, I forget how many, it's hundreds and hundreds of graduates. So that's more of what I'm going for, and always have. We don't push the bar. We close at 10 o'clock now. And it's not part of this. And I don't see that happening. And if it did turn into, a bunch of college students drinking and being loud out there, I would probably raise prices. I have control over stopping that. And it's just not the business that I want to be in.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Is there anything else you wanted to add before I go to public comment?
Yeah, one last thing, the outdoor area really isn't set up for a stage, right? So it's got seating and it's got the tables. So Tom hasn't set this up to have, bands set up out there. So it really is more of the TV and that audio oriented, that type of entertainment.
Okay.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks, guys. I think we'll move on now to public comment and give Mr. Westpeiser an opportunity to weigh in.
Yeah, thanks, David. I appreciate it. Well, it's a fantastic presentation, guys. This is the way the system works, and it works well when everyone's got motivation. And we're 100% behind this project. Believe me, it's going to be phenomenal for the neighborhood, and the hotel guests are just going to we're going to benefit from it. So we're 100% behind it. I feel like I wish I got in a little bit earlier and make comments. So I appreciate Tom and Mr. Wolker. Your first name I didn't catch, Jay, but those comments are great, and you're correct. We have noise complaints all the time at the hotel. I mean, the students are out there, just like you said, they're all over the place. So that's not new. Our concern would be, I think I was a little led to believe there might be outdoor entertainment like a stage and a band playing till midnight. And that sound probably travel over the 4-foot wall. I was afraid it's going to hit, we're flat parallel to you, and that sound's going to hit those windows. So we're going to have guest complaints, and that means we've got to refund their money usually and stuff like that. So it's a problem for us, but I understand a little bit better what you're saying now, and we understand the student business. We're in Oxford, and we have the restaurants and the hotels and stuff. So we're well aware of what happens when the students are out, and there's going to be noise out on the street either way. But it sounds like to me that this will be a little more of an outdoor seating area versus an outdoor concert venue, and that's what that was our initial concern, I think.
Great.
Yeah, and I just say we're more than 100% behind the project, so I don't want to, anyone feeling like we're against it at all, because this is phenomenal. It's going to be a great improvement. Tom, more power to you. This is it's a big project, and to pull this off in this environment, if you can get this done, we're all for you. If you need any help, we're here to support you.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, let's I just want to sort of hammer down on that one point. Is there a stage area out here?
There is not, no.
Okay. Off to the far west along McMillan, there's that sort of structure that meets the.
There are, if you look at, you have the site plan?
Yeah, give me a second.
I'll pull it up here.
Oh, okay.
I was referring to this. That's not like a covered stage area.
No, if you look under on the site plan, you'll see that there's tables, couch seating under that.
Okay, here, I got you. All right. And so are there plans to, is that part of your business to have live music?
It is not. I don't want to exclude myself, but it is not. And if it did, I would, end it earlier. You can still be open till midnight for food and drinks and have the live music stop at, 10:30. It's not something that I want to do. I don't want to pursue a facility that's going to draw a bunch of college kids, even though I'm on a college campus. I want to draw the neighborhood families. I want to draw the kids, the college kids and their parents in for drinks. But we've never done that, and it's easy to do by not having, drink specials and everything else that some of the other ones do, and we'll let those stay the bars. And we still have a carryout business. It's 40% of my carryout and delivery, or 60% of my business. So we're not completely oriented on, the dine-in aspect. This will expand it, and I think it'll give us those 30+ days where the university is packed and the overflow can go there, and hopefully we're busy and on the other nights too.
Great, thanks. I think I'll turn over to Wes now. Wes, anything you want to add here to this conversation?
I want a couple things. I just wanted to clarify the hours again. So it sounds like what you're saying is that during Sunday through Thursday, the outdoor area would close at 10, but the restaurant would the inside space would stay open till 11. Is that what you said?
Currently, we're open till 11. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And, again, that could change for the interior. I don't see it going back to what we used to have. We used to be open till midnight, and then we used to be open till 2:30. I had an extended liquor license to serve alcohol until 2:30. I turned that in 2 years ago. And frankly, you just can't get the employees to work past that. And it seems like we get a better crowd when we send them home, by midnight. And I think that's my business model for the foreseeable future.
Thanks. And then So I was talking to Mr. Westbeiser yesterday and, listened to his concerns. But I just want to outline that the conditional use review for the hours and the outdoor space is primarily set up to protect the residential zoning behind, in this case, behind it to the south. So the report I wrote was kind of focused on that and those impacts, which seem to be, really well designed to mitigate with the building design wrapping around the outdoor space, protecting the areas to the south. Unfortunately, it doesn't really protect the hotel across the street, but I think knowing that there's no live music and that kind of thing, which has been discussed today, it sounds like has made Mr. Westbeiser's concerns, more comfortable with everything. So that's good. But other than that, I don't really need to add anything. I think Jonathan's presentation covered a lot of the angles that I highlighted in my report, and the project, as has been mentioned, as it seems like a good investment, transforms the area with a destination restaurant that has a lot of attractive elements and minimal adverse impacts. So thank you.
Thank you, Wes. All right, I'm gonna go back to Mr. Welker and Urbeck. Anything you have to say in response to anything that's been mentioned today, or anything else in closing or otherwise before we adjourn?
No, I think we've covered it all. We feel it's an excellent project here, and like I said once before, I think this is the type of development the city's trying to encourage in these corridors, and this is really going to be a jewel in the crown here if we can get this developed.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. I think we'll leave it at that. Okay, so I've had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. I'm familiar with this area. I really do agree with what everyone has said in terms of the design. But the whole project seems like it would fit really well together. So I think it would be a huge asset for the community. I've reviewed the letters of support as well, but almost entirely in favor. I think Mr. Westbeiser said today, without a live music component, that it's less of a concern with the place. But anyway, based on all of that, I am going to approve the application. I need to formalize that approval and the decision. I think I may add a condition or conditions about the outdoor use, particularly with the live music. There may be a condition that live music not extend past 10 o'clock on the day. That, again, that's just sort of in line with something Mr. Irving said about when he thought he would stop it. But that's the one thing I'd like to just dial in a little bit after just doing a little bit more review. But other than that, this is going to be an approval, and I'll write up the formal approval, put it in the PDF. I'll email it. I'll include any conditions. I'll email it to everybody who's in hearing here today, and I'll have a copy of that release once that is complete. Mr. Welker and Urbeck, as you may or may not know, once you have that decision, West Intel can approve the zoning permit on his end. Hopefully, you guys can move forward and take the next step. Okay.
All right.
Any questions about that at all?
Great,
Nope.
great
Thank
job,
you.
everyone. That was very good, and good luck, Tom. It's a great project.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Sure. If you guys have any questions about process, feel free to reach out to me directly, or if you'd like to status update on the decision, I'm happy to provide that to you. Good luck with the project. Look forward to seeing it up there. And